Hey guys, I just want to let you know before this episode starts that there's a little bit of echo in the beginning that comes from Gino's mic. We do end up fixing it though, and then it just sounds like the normal audio. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy.
Are you sure you want to do it, Will?
No, you do it.
No, I think you should do it,
I
buddy.
think you should do it.
I'm not too sure, buddy.
Fine, I'll do it. Welcome back to episode 11
Shut
of
the fuck
Conti
up.
and
I
Nick.
don't want to do it.
I'm Will Nicholson, as always. I have with me Gino Conti, and today is gonna be, as Gino said, it's gonna be war. It's gonna be a battle today. We're talking
No
Ben
guests
Simmons.
today.
No
guess, buddy.
No.
It's me versus you.
1v1. Check ball.
Here we
Oh,
go.
man.
You ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Big Ben Simmons, man. This is the hot topic of the debate. I am ready.
Yeah, I'm ready for this. So if you're in the sports group chat with me and Gino, I know that's a select few, but you know, for those who don't know, me and Gino have been going at it ever since Game 7, Philly versus Atlanta. We've been talking about this episode for a minute, so it's gonna be a good one.
Hey,
So I hope you're all ready.
School's in, but I'm the teacher.
Oh, we will see. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy, and remember, we're doing a podcast, so follow us on social
I
media.
don't hope you enjoy. All right, so Ben Simmons. This has been a big topic of debate for me and Will Nicholson, like he said in the intro, and we have very, very different, varying opinions about this. And I happen to be more on the supportive side, and he happens to be more of the rejecting side of Ben Simmons, let's say. But before we get to war, I actually want to get some general questions out the way first, because it is kind of important, okay?
Okay.
So, Ben Simmons, should Philly trade him? Like, is it time to move on, or is there something to salvage with Philly?
I think it's time to move on from Ben Simmons. I mean, the way that team plays, it's not for Ben Simmons, right? Because all right, look, Ben Simmons, and I'll say this right away, is not a horrible basketball player. He's not going to go play in China, despite all the memes that
Sharks.
yeah, the memes that we've been seeing. But Ben Simmons in the playoffs, the way he plays does not work. I've seen countless videos of it, it being explained that Ben Simmons is great in the full court, which is, it's fine in the regular season. A lot of the, regular season can be, the full court offense. But in the playoffs, where majority of it is half court, you don't have a lot of fast breaks, and a lot of it is like set offense, which is why the Phoenix Suns are doing really good because they're great at it. But when it comes to Ben Simmons, he does pretty much the same thing every trip down the floor, especially in the fourth quarter. He dribbles the ball up, he'll give it to either in the post to Embiid, or he'll give it to one of the other guards. He'll set a screen, and then he'll move down in the baseline and go into a dunker's position. It's almost every single time, and when you're the number one overall pick, that's not effective. You're playing like the Aaron Gordon role, but like worse, because Aaron Gordon could at least kind of stretch the floor. But should they trade Ben Simmons? Yes, it's time to move on from him.
So a big name, or like the prime name so far, has been the Portland Trailblazers.
With Dame, yeah.
Would he fit in Portland, and if so, what would you expect in return?
Ooh, okay. So the Sixers will want Dame, right?
I think that's a little too high of a price.
It's way too high of a price. But do you think there's even a shot that they move CJ? Because that's what. All right, so let's talk like what would the deal would be? Because it would be Ben for CJ, something like that, right?
Yeah, and throw in some players or picks or whatever. But the main bulk of the deal, yes, would be Simmons for CJ McCollum. I think that's honestly fair, if I'm being completely honest, because in their own different ways, they're almost the same level of player, if that makes sense. So honestly, I don't know if I would do it if I was Portland. I mean, yeah, you have to shake things up because CJ and Dame obviously hasn't worked, and Dame, he's not saying he wants out, but they're also talking about Dame moving, so let's see what happens there. But it's clear that Portland does need a shakeup.
Yeah,
I don't know if Ben Simmons is the key, though. I don't know if Ben Simmons is the answer for Portland, but I definitely will tell you this. CJ is the answer for Philly.
Oh,
CJ
for sure.
is the answer
100%.
for Philly.
Because here's the thing with both teams, right? Portland needs a change up, right? They need to change something. It's starting to get a little... with Dame being in Portland, we don't really know. I think he's going to stay in Portland, but they need to make a move. And the 76ers, like, you don't know what's going to work, right?
Yeah.
And if you're Ben Simmons, I think no matter what, you need to get out. You need a fresh start. It doesn't matter if it's necessarily like the right fit per se, because I think there's better fits probably than Portland. But I think he needs to get out of Philly. He needs to get in a new setting, new environment, new coaches, and I become a new player,
Well,
really.
I don't know about you, but to me, if Dame does stay and CJ for Ben Simmons, like essentially that trade does happen, I think like obviously Dame's the primary ball handler.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons can't be the point guard, and I think that'd be a little bit of an awkward like situation there if he was at the two guard.
What if
So
he reinvents his game though? What if Simmons plays more of a forward position?
what I was
Yes.
gonna say is his natural position actually is the power forward. So what I'm thinking is, hey, I mean, if you put him at the power forward, I mean, do you think him and Dame would be better than him and CJ if you put Ben Simmons at power forward?
I mean, we have no idea, right? Like
I mean, just
we'd
top,
have to see.
just top of your head. Do you
Yeah,
think it
I
would?
mean, I think that would work, but again, like it would have to depend on how much Ben Simmons changes this offseason. Because if you take Philly Ben Simmons and just throw him on Portland and he's the same player, no, that team doesn't get better. I think they actually get worse because they lose the value that CJ brought of another person that can go and get a bucket. And Ben Simmons is not one of those people who can go and get you a bucket. So it would be rough, but if Ben Simmons is able to maybe just try and thrive and being more of a forward, then maybe it could work out. But again, we'd have to see.
Well, so it's actually been reported that Ben Simmons might shoot with his right hand.
Yeah.
And might switch to actually being a righty. And the
Yeah.
only reason he shoots lefty, I mean,
I've heard this. This is amazing. I love this story so much.
He dribbles everything with his right hand. He does it all, but he shoots with his left hand because his dad thought it would be more effective.
Yeah, his dad wanted him to be like ambidextrous or whatever, be able to use both hands, and then he just naturally moved to his left hand. But do you know who Mike Korzemba is?
Who?
You ever seen a Mike Korzemba video?
I don't know.
Okay, so he's a basketball YouTuber guy. He did a video about this, and it was pretty much like a conspiracy theory video, but it was really funny. It's like it was
creepy music in the background.
It was
Conspiracy
literally
theory.
like, does Ben Simmons shoot with the wrong hand? And it was straight up, and it was a bunch of examples. One of which he was on late night TV, and he went as like when people are just like, oh, I'm playing basketball, and like they shoot with their hands.
Yeah.
He shot with his right hand.
Really?
Yeah, like when you're like, oh, like I'm shooting hoops, and like you flick your wrist in the air. He did it with his right hand.
I've never seen this video.
It's a great video. All right, look, Korzemba is like funny and everything, but he did say that Lonzo Ball was gonna be Steph Curry with like a 40-inch vertical.
All right.
He's wrong a lot of the time.
I don't think I want to know this man.
No, like he's become more of a meme, but like that video was like, is he actually shooting with the wrong hand? And now that it's coming out that he's gonna switch hands, I don't know.
He has is like something. How long did this video come out?
It was like a year ago.
Was it?
Yeah,
so
it was
this
a while.
this man is wrong about almost everything, but in a year in advance, this man like predicted that Simmons was shooting with the wrong hand.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong about everything, but he has a lot of hot takes. That's what I'll say. And that was like one of them. He's like, I think Ben Simmons should start shooting with his right. And we're like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
And now it's coming out that Ben Simmons might move to the other hand. We're like, whoa.
I mean, so another thing real quick about Ben Simmons with the trades too, before we actually talk about Ben Simmons, I heard that they want to move him to Minnesota, where he could possibly get not Tom DeLaury, D'Angelo Russell in return, and you just have you'd have Ben Simmons, you'd have Cat, you'd have Anthony Edwards, and I think to me, in my opinion, that's a little bit not enough shooting to me because Cat can shoot, Malik Beasley is a good scorer and he can shoot. But, I mean, Anthony Edwards is more, at this point, more of a slasher. I mean, he's like
good.
a
two-guard.
Yeah, he's very good at it. But, I mean, he has to develop his shot a little bit, even though he's a solid shooter.
He's shown flashes of it, too.
Yeah, he's definitely, like I said, he's definitely shown flashes, but he definitely needs to, improve it and up the game a little bit. And Ben Simmons, obviously, I wouldn't say he can't shoot. This has been my take for a long time.
He can't. You can say it. He can't.
He won't shoot. He won't.
Because he can't.
What?
He's unable to make... Dude, he doesn't even know what hand he's shooting with, alright? That's what bums in the park do, dude. You can't believe, they just start shooting with the other hand.
You know what? Hold on. So, here we go. Okay. So, Will, you gave a long, detailed explanation, and you said it kind of at the beginning about why Ben Simmons is the most overrated player in the league.
Yes, he is, 100%.
I want to hear it once again, if you don't mind repeating a little bit what you said earlier.
All right, so I will say Ben Simmons is the most overrated player in the league. He was the number 1 overall pick in 2017 over Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, all those players, right? He was drafted over
Tatum
them.
was in 2017, and I think Ben was in 2016.
Oh, wait, they were all the same rookie year though, because Simmons missed a year, right?
Okay, yes.
No,
Yeah,
okay,
okay,
never
yeah,
mind.
no, that,
So
now that,
he
now that
was
you say
in
that,
that
makes
class.
sense. Yeah.
Okay, he was in that class, right?
Yes.
Wait, so he was drafted over Ingram.
Yeah, he was in 2016.
Gotcha.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, he was in 2016.
Yes.
And then you were right about the rookie year, how he was pretty much
Okay.
hurt the whole time. And then 2017 was technically the rookie year when they had that
Yes.
big controversy
With
between him,
Mitchell,
and,
yeah.
him and D. Mitch. Okay,
Okay,
no, I got
so-
you now.
So Ben Simmons, he's a high draft pick regardless, right? The number 1 overall pick, and that has weight to it, right? Maybe some unfair weight sometimes, but it does, right? Ben Simmons was getting, do you remember this? He was getting comparisons to being LeBron in his early days because he could run the floor, he could pass. Again, Ben Simmons is very good in the full court, and that's what gets him his All-Star appearances, dude. He'll be able to get in the fast break. He's fast, he's athletic, and he has pretty good vision. I think his vision is still a little bit overrated. He's a good passer, but people overrate it more than what it is. And
What do you mean? Well, can you go into detail about how he's an overrated passer?
Okay. Well, when we're talking about being a good passer, I'm looking at if you're a floor general. Chris Paul, great passer, right?
Well, to be
a lot
fair,
of these
not
point
a lot of people
guards.
can be Chris Paul.
Okay, but that's fair. But I'm just in general, because if anyone's able to make passes in the full court, right? If you're on a fast break, it's kind of easy to find the open pass, right? And don't get me wrong, Ben Simmons is good at it, and he's able to do it. But if you're in a half court set, right, and you have to actually make a play on the ball, Ben Simmons can't do it. We see it in the playoffs every single time. He plays bad in the playoffs every single year. He really hasn't had like a standout playoff game. He scores like 1 point in games. He shoots 0 shots in the fourth quarter. It's because when the game is close and the game is tight and the game slows down, he's not an isolation scorer. He can't go get himself a bucket, and he really can't set up teammates. So that's why I think Ben Simmons is insanely overrated from where he was drafted and the production he's put up. It's great in the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, it doesn't work. It hasn't worked, and it won't work if he continues to play this style of basketball.
Let me ask you. You and I, for eternity, as long as we've known each other, have always debated Harden and Giannis, right? And I'm not talking about MVP, but we talk about
who's better.
Giannis' skill set.
Yes.
Okay. What does Giannis do better than Ben Simmons? Because it seems to me a lot of what you're describing is also kind of the thing about Giannis.
But why is Giannis scoring like 40 points in playoff games
Well, Giannis
and
converts, but he also really can't shoot.
See, that's fair. Okay, Giannis doesn't really have a jump shot, which is fair. I mean, he still shoots them, but they don't always go in. But the thing is, at least you have to kind of respect Giannis at the 3-point line. And sometimes teams still don't even do that, right?
Yeah.
The thing is with Giannis is you can give the ball to Giannis and he can score. If you can get Giannis in an ISO situation, he can try and get downhill, get to the bucket, and he also has shooters all around him. That's the difference between Ben and Giannis.
Well, you also got to think about Giannis. Giannis has that team built completely around him. Ben
That's
Simmons does not.
But that team is great. Dude, the role players played so good for the 76ers. Tobias Harris played good. Seth Curry played out of his mind. Right? So the players around Ben Simmons weren't playing bad. So it's not like Ben Simmons didn't have help. And we're not going to do that, by the way. We're not going to say that Ben Simmons didn't have help.
I'm not saying he didn't have help.
Dude,
but
we were raving. All right, we've been raving about the 76ers, how good they are, how good of a coach Doc is. And Ben Simmons, he just can't perform. He just can't do it. He hasn't performed on the big level. You saw the same play. It was a wide open dunk. He's passing. His confidence is shot in Philly, which it should be. He hasn't played well. He needs to get out of Philly, and he needs to change the way he plays the game.
Well, let's break it
in my
down.
opinion.
Okay.
Ben Simmons, do whatever you want.
So think about it, though. Giannis, like I said, has a team fully constructed around him.
Yes.
And believe me, Brook Lopez and Joel Embiid, I am not arguing who's better. It is Joel Embiid. But Brook Lopez has developed himself into a stretch 5, which means if Giannis is going to drive and dunk, which is pretty much all he does, Brook Lopez now has the ability to kick it, to go out to the corner, so Giannis can kick it out, and the defense collapses, so Brook Lopez is wide open. That's not really, Joel Embiid can shoot the 3, okay, but he's not obviously like a 3-and-D in the corner type of center. He's a goddamn MVP, and he's a menace in the paint who teams need to double team around. I mean, that offense pretty much is based off of having Embiid go into the paint, having the defense suck in and collapse.
And that's how it should be, because Embiid is outstandingly a better player than Ben Simmons.
And exactly. And I'm not trying to say like it should be any different, but at the same time, the offense doesn't really cater to Ben Simmons. Like the difference is with a guy like Joel Embiid, you need a shooter at the point guard. Like if you're really gonna build this team around Joel Embiid, you need to have a team like the 09 Magic that made it to the NBA Finals, that had like Aaron Aflalo, that had Vince Carter, that had all these like shooters. Okay, and gone are those days. You can't do that with a guy like Ben Simmons. So I wouldn't even say that it's him that is performing badly. He's given the looks that he has, and he's taking them, and he's missing them because first of all,
he's not taking them in the fourth though.
You're right. Yeah. He's not. Okay. But his confidence is shot. Yeah. And what we have to remember is, especially against Atlanta, Danny Green was hurt. That was like one of their main guys who could play 3-and-D, stretch the floor for them, and who could kick it out and he'd be wide open. Okay, Danny Green was hurt, so that means even more defensive attention is put towards Ben Simmons.
See, here's the thing. Here you're making the argument that okay, Ben Simmons doesn't have the keys to the offense, and he doesn't have the keys because if they gave him the keys, he'd crash in 5 seconds.
Well, you don't know that. He hasn't been given.
No, I do know that. What would the offense be if it wasn't Embiid in the post and running plays for Seth Curry? What would the offense be?
Well, like
Ben Simmons isolation? That's not gonna work.
Well, it would definitely be a lot more like pace and space. I think. You know, I definitely think it would.
But that doesn't work in the playoffs, though. You want Embiid to run pace and space?
Listen. I'm not trying to say this is what I want to happen. I'm just kind of telling you what it would be.
What else they could do?
Yeah, I'm just saying what else they could do.
See, that's fair, but like you need to put your offense around your best player, right? Okay. Which is Joel Embiid, and it's not like Ben Simmons hasn't been given opportunity. It's that he couldn't perform even if he had it. Right, like he had opportunities in the fourth, and he didn't perform when he had it.
Do you think
wide open dunk? He couldn't. You know, not that he couldn't. He didn't. I guess. Dunk it.
That's the argument I'm making. It's not that he can't. It's that he won't.
But I also don't think he can, though. That's the thing.
I listen. I think that honestly, first of all, like I said, Danny Green was out. Okay, and listen, I'm not trying to tell you that Danny Green is like the be-all, end-all. But look, I mean, he goes to the Raptors.
Replace him with Seth Curry, dude. Played out of his mind.
I understand.
Seth probably played better than Danny Green ever would have.
But think about it this way, okay? Like, there are certain players who won't wow you on the stat sheet. There are certain players that won't, like, oh my God, this guy is the reason they won. But there are guys that you look at and you're like, wow, like, this guy is a real unsung hero, okay? And listen, he goes to the Raptors, and he's the starting shooting guard on a championship team. He was the starter, and Van Vliet was coming off the bench at that point in time. Okay, Danny Green goes, and he goes to the Lakers. And obviously they have LeBron and AD. Believe me, I'm not stupid. But Danny Green played a pivotal role in that team because what you need of a 3-and-D player, he does that perfectly. And that means, like, you don't have to worry about it. Does that make sense? Like, he takes care of the stuff that, like, the very little things that you really don't see. And he takes care of them, so he makes a coach's job so much easier. And the same can be said for when he went to Philly. Okay, that was going smooth. It was a smooth operation. And then, like I said, Danny Green goes, and that means more defenses can collapse in on Ben Simmons, and that means more opportunities for Seth Curry, which made him go off. And I'm not saying that Seth Curry isn't good. I'm saying that Seth Curry was able to thrive a bit more because he was getting less of the defensive attention.
Look, I think we're overvaluing Danny Green just a little bit here, right? Look, Danny Green is a great player, but he's just a role player, right? And role players can be replaced.
I'm not trying to tell you that he's an MVP candidate like Chris Paul is.
No, okay. And I get that, right? I get that. Okay, like he's a role player, but I think you're valuing him a little more than what he's been in good situations, right? He also had games where he shot horribly, right? It's happened. I mean, it happens. Okay, it happens to everyone, all right? But I think we're overvaluing Danny Green a little bit here because that 76ers team is so deep. Next man up, Seth Curry needs to score, plays out of his mind, right?
Who's that small forward, number 22?
Matisse Thybulle. No, all right. Matisse Thybulle actually played pretty good. I will say. But what you were saying was absurd. I do like Matisse Thybulle.
Maybe if Will listen to me every now and again.
He was not gonna lock up Kevin Durant.
Hey, too bad we'll never know.
If you didn't see that meme we posted on our Instagram, by the way,
check it out.
Go
Please.
check it out. It's a great meme.
I was camping over the weekend and I saw that he posted that. Will didn't tell me about it, so I just randomly saw it and I just started laughing my ass off.
It's a great meme. But anyway, Matisse Thybulle, he did play really good in this series. I didn't think he was gonna play bad. It would have been funnier if he did. But Danny Green, right? Good role player. I think you're overvaluing him a little bit because the next man up stepped up. Steph Curry stepped up. It's not like the pieces around Ben Simmons played bad. Ben Simmons played bad himself.
Well, I mean, but I gave you an explanation as to why. And listen,
But
I'm not
the
excusing.
excuse can't be Danny Green. It can't be because Danny Green isn't there. He doesn't demand that much attention. Danny Green does not suck up defenders away from anyone. He's there to make a wide open three or even contested sometimes. Danny Green's pretty good, but
well, listen, he also brings a lot to you for defense. So that can kind of tell you, oh, wait a minute. So that makes Ben Simmons more like busy on the defensive end as well, which can cause more exhaustion for Ben Simmons, right?
I mean, I don't think Danny Green brings that much value, Gino. I think he's just there to make shots and play decent defense, and that's Danny Green's value. Danny Green is not taking pressure off of anyone.
I'm telling you, man. Like,
I don't believe that. I'm sorry.
There are people. I'm gonna repeat myself. There are people who do things beyond the stat sheet. And
that's fair.
You'll see Danny
I
Green.
don't think Danny Green is really one of those guys. If you were like T.J. McConnell, Marcus Smart, Pat Bev, I'd be like, okay, yeah, those guys do stuff off the stat sheet.
You actually acknowledge T.J. McConnell?
I love T.J. McConnell.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah, he's a dog. Yeah, that's a nice.
Okay.
That's a nice heartfelt moment.
Let's not make this the Danny Green episode, okay?
That's fair.
First, I want to go to a little subtopic, but when it comes to Ben Simmons, it all relates to him, okay? I think that Ben Simmons is an elite basketball player, okay?
Oh my God.
Everything that you want him to do besides shoot, he is.
That's like one of the biggest parts of the game today.
It is. Listen, he can do it, and he can do it at a top tier. Like, don't you think that in today's climate
in the half court, he can do it in the half court.
Okay, well, say whatever you want about full court.
That is the entire playoffs. That is a full system of basketball that he cannot play.
I'm making a point here, okay? But don't you think that it goes to show how elite of a basketball player he is when he can't shoot, which is literally the primary thing of today's game, and he still makes All-Star games?
No, because he doesn't win in the playoffs. All right, look, I already explained why Ben Simmons gets the All-Star, right? I'm almost saying preseason every time, sir.
There was no preseason.
In the regular season, Ben Simmons is good because he can work down low, he can find open teammates, and he can run the fast break, and he's big athletic, he can do all that stuff. When it comes in the playoffs and teams are playing like lockdown defense, and Ben Simmons cannot shoot the ball, and he doesn't have the ability, I don't know if he doesn't even have the ability, he just doesn't drive, and when he does and he has wide open dunks, he passes them to a contested teammate. And look, he's a good basketball player, right? Mm-hmm. He's in the NBA, he's made All-Star. Good, right? But for the value that Ben Simmons should have, being the number 1 overall pick, getting comparisons to LeBron, he's not there, and he hasn't been there. He can't win in the playoffs. There's a reason. The way that he plays doesn't win you games in the playoffs, and he just needs to get out of Philly, man.
Well, do you think about it this way? Do you think if a team was constructed around him, like, I'm not saying in Philly, I'm just saying elsewhere, if a team built around Ben Simmons like the Bucks built around Giannis.
How would you build around Ben Simmons though? What not like players specifically, but like what type of players?
Oh, I have a tree.
all right.
For the longest time, I have been saying if you're Philly, I mean, I've been saying it for over a year, so now this take might sound ridiculous, but I just wanted you to think about this in theory. Philly trades Joel Embiid, okay? In return, you get Klay Thompson and James Wiseman.
That is horrible. Gino,
why is that horrible?
Gino, that is so bad.
Why is that horrible?
You're not... you want to trade an MVP candidate for Klay Thompson? Well, okay, yeah, it is a little out of date because I assume that you didn't do that when he was hurt, or did you?
No, but this was before he was hurt.
Okay.
But thinking about it now, I mean, if you also add James Wiseman, I mean, And I mean, Philly may
You just
also
got another. He's just the worst Embiid.
with James Wiseman.
Yeah.
Okay, but hold on. But we really didn't see a lot of him, and when he was playing, he was putting up like 13 and 10, 13 and 8.
Wiseman did have a good season, right?
Yeah.
But I don't
healthy.
think that. Well, okay. If you're the 76ers, why would you even think about giving the keys to Ben Simmons though? Because he can't perform in the play. He hasn't performed in the playoffs.
Well, think about it this way, because if Ben Simmons, for a fact, is a natural righty, which he is, but I don't know why I said that, but
I believe. Stick with it. He is. You gotta own it now.
Ben Simmons is a natural righty. If he is able to make that transition like seamlessly, which I hope he is, and maybe not seamlessly, but like start kind of slow, but build it up as the season goes along, and he develops a solid, like not even a solid, a mediocre shot, okay, rather than a non-existent shot because he won't shoot. If he develops a mediocre shot with his right hand, and you get Klay Thompson, a top 5 shooter of all time, along with James Wiseman, who in his rookie year was putting up double-doubles, I mean, and then you still have Curry. If you choose to re-sign Danny Green, you still have Danny Green. And then if you re-sign Dwight Howard, like, don't laugh. If you re-sign Dwight Howard, once again, that's a big man who can mentor a young man, right?
Sure, man.
Yeah.
To an extent, I guess.
If you keep Thibault, okay, that's somebody who has elite defense, all right, and he can already...
Wait. I love Matisse Thibault. Elite defense.
Elite defense. You heard me.
All right, continue.
You have elite defense. You have Shake Milton, okay? Stop laughing at me. I like Shake Milton. He's a 6'5" point guard, okay, who's also considered a big point guard and shows offensive flashes and offensive promise, who you can... Stop laughing.
I'm not. Keep going.
You're not... Oh, you're not... You're not laughing.
Hey, when the audience can't hear, they don't know.
Shake Milton is a big point guard who has shown offensive promise. I think if you... Obviously, Ben Simmons and Embiid don't work. Like I said, gone are the days of Dwight Howard teams where the center, no pun intended, is the centerpiece, and then you can just put shooters all around him. Gone are the days of that, like, those teams being relevant. Okay, and like here are the days of teams like the Bucks with a guy who can't really shoot but has shooters all around him, and that is technically what is successful now. Okay,
so here's the thing. I don't mind the direction that you're taking that, right? But you're doing it on the complete different team. If you're the Philadelphia 76ers, you have a house right now that needs a couple repairs, right? You need a little adjustment on the garage, and you need to just get this piece that isn't working out of here, right? Mm-hmm. You need to get it out. And instead you're saying, let's take the broken piece and make it the whole house, and then build around that piece that is ruining the rest of the house. And I don't think it makes sense for Phil. All right, that was a dumb analogy, but it kind of made sense.
No, I hear what you're saying.
Okay, right. But
I got you.
If you're the 76ers, rebuilding around Ben Simmons makes zero sense, right? You have Joel Embiid, you have an MVP candidate. It doesn't make sense to do that, right? To make that trade and do all that. However, I think that is a good way for Ben Simmons to succeed. It just needs to happen somewhere else, right? But maybe it happens in Portland, right, where they make Simmons the number
forward.
2. Yeah. Well, not the number 2 as in shooting guard, the number 2 option at the power forward, where he's able to get out to open shooters and do all that stuff. But he does need to develop his jump shot. That would be the perfect scenario for Ben Simmons, right?
Well,
I had the best fit that I forgot to say earlier. I think the best fit for Ben Simmons would be Golden State, and I've seen a little bit about it. I think if Golden State wants to trade like Andrew Wiggins or even Draymond Green, which I think Draymond Green has a lot of value, so I don't think they would do that.
He's a little bit on the older side, so
exactly. So they kind of almost play the same way. I think they would, at least, where Simmons is able to kind of be a point forward, the way that Draymond is for that team.
Draymond can facilitate and run an offense.
Think about this, right? Ben Simmons develops a little bit of at least be able to hit free throws, right? He moves to the 4. You have Steph. Clay will be back, so you got your guy Clay with you. Andrew Wiggins, Ben Simmons, James Wiseman.
Well, didn't you say you had to trade Andrew Wiggins?
You could trade Draymond Green.
Oh, I thought you were saying trade both.
No,
Oh.
no. One of the two, I think, would make sense.
Okay.
I think Wiggins would actually probably make the most sense now that I think about it, because those contracts are, that fits better, I feel like. So, all right, we'll say you trade Wiggins. Wiggins has more value, and he'll bring the deception that he can shoot to the Philadelphia 76ers. And you have Steph, Clay, then you can put Simmons at small forward, which I think is fine. You have Draymond Green and then Wiseman. And then you put more shooters around that team. You already have two of the greatest shooters of all time, but bench shooters, you have a team where if Ben Simmons commits to playing the forward role and he gets a little bit of a jump shot and he just kind of commits to like what he's already been doing without the ball handling of just being a forward and like running baseline, and when Steph is doubled, you can set screens for Steph and Clay. I think that would work for Ben Simmons. I think that would be his best case scenario, but he needs to develop some type of jump shot so he can hit a wide open three. That's all I'm asking. And I don't think that's a whole lot to ask.
Okay, so that's okay. That's a good scenario.
Yeah.
Okay, but
it's honestly, I think it's like your scenario that you were saying, except the 76ers aren't blind and deaf.
yeah. But do you think if they were to get Andrew Wiggins and probably picks, I presume, right? Andrew Wiggins and picks. I don't think that's enough. I think you need something a little bit more. Probably throw in like Jordan Poole, who's a developing guard. As well.
Those would be the main two pieces. So you get Jordan Poole, maybe even oh my God, well I don't remember his name. 95. He has a weird name. I'm blanking on it. However,
I can't think right now. Sorry.
I watched him play and he got a concussion. Dude plays with heart.
He
when
does.
I went to that Celtics game.
So think about it this way though. Do you see if you're Philly next year? Let's say that trade happens. You have Jordan Poole, Danny Green, Andrew Wiggins, whoever's playing the power forward, and then Joel Embiid. Is that a championship contending team, or is that a better team than when they had Ben Simmons?
I think 100% yes, it is a better team as far as fit goes, right? Like, I'd say Ben Simmons is probably most definitely a better player than Andrew Wiggins. I mean, like, Wiggins does more, but I think what Simmons is good at, it outweighs the stuff that Wiggins is kind of good at, right? So I think that Simmons is a better player. However, I think that the way that they would fit Andrew Wiggins around the rest of the team would be better. Because Andrew Wiggins can hit a wide open three, right? Andrew Wiggins is athletic still. He's not consistent, right? Mm-hmm. But you still have an athletic guy. If maybe he steps up his defense with Doc, who knows? You have this athletic guy who can shoot the ball, and then you can maybe, if they keep Seth or something, you could have like Seth, Danny Green, maybe Wiggins. Move someone. I don't even know who they're running at power forward.
Thibault technically. I know.
I guess Thibault. Yeah.
I know it's a joke, but like Thibault technically could play.
Yeah. So Thibault and Wiggins as your wings. I don't think that's bad. I think that's a better fit than what they're doing with Ben Simmons, because now you fully give everything to Embiid, right? Okay, like go be the MVP. You have all these pieces around you. Wiggins is athletic as hell. That's why he's gonna be in the league for probably a while. He's super athletic and he can shoot.
He's just not the number one overall.
He's not the number one overall pick.
So if I'm not gonna roast you. Okay. I just want to know, just to make it like known. Okay. So if you're Philly, you would prefer, like, if you're the Philly GM, to have Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins and Embiid, rather than Ben Simmons, Klay Thompson, and James Wiseman.
But see, that's not going to happen, though. There's no way that they would ever do that.
Well, Philly would probably have to throw something else in. Maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe. Okay, yeah. But let's just say it would be picks, or maybe some developing prospect, or whatever. Okay, I hate to say it, Thibault, or someone. Okay, like, let's just say throw someone in. If you're Philly, so you would rather have Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, and Embiid, rather than Ben Simmons, Klay Thompson, and James Wiseman?
For sure, yeah. If I'm the 76ers. Because you have Joel Embiid is better than every single player that you just listed, right? You have an MVP candidate, you have the best center in the league, and you put good role players around him. I mean, I think that's a win. You have Andrew Wiggins, who, all right, isn't like the number 2 option, but he's definitely an option when he's on the floor. Like, he's reliable sometimes. He's not consistent, but
yeah, that's why he's more of a role
maybe
player.
It changes in Philly, right? I know we say every year is the year for Andrew Wiggins, it never will be. All right, it never will be. And I'm not saying that he's gonna be an all-star. I'm just saying he could be a decent number 2 scoring option, possibly. Who knows? And that's not asking a lot, especially for someone as talented as Andrew Wiggins to step up. But I think that team would 100% be better than the 76ers team we saw this year because Ben Simmons doesn't fit with Embiid. They don't work. You can't have a center that can shoot and a point guard that can't. It's weird.
I hear what you're saying, but I just want to reiterate one more time, okay? If you have Joel Embiid, okay, if you keep Ben Simmons, which it looks like, I mean, anything can happen over the span of an off.
It looks like he's out the door.
I understand, but anything can happen over the span of an offseason. But right now what they're saying, Philly is saying, is that they want to keep Ben Simmons and that they're going to make efforts to work with him. And if it means going to his right hand, go to right hand, whatever they got to do, they'll do it to stay.
It seems like he's got to be in the gym, man.
No, and he definitely will have to be, and he'll have to put his ass to work. Okay, but if Ben Simmons does stay, that might frustrate, and I predict that it will frustrate Joel Embiid, and he's gonna ask for a trade. Okay, he's gonna become disgruntled, and he's gonna be like, "What am I playing my ass off for?"
This is a scenario I can get behind now.
Yeah. So think about it. So think about it this way: if the Philadelphia 76ers words are true, and that happens, and Joel Embiid becomes disgruntled, then why wouldn't you trade him? Get a young center who you don't have to pay, and who can shoot. If not, maybe I'd say almost a little worse, around the same as Embiid, because Embiid's not a world beater at the perimeter, okay? But you get a young center who's ascending, okay, who you don't have to pay just yet, and you get a top 5 shooter of all time who's gonna play till he's 70 because all he does is shoot. And then Ben Simmons finally gets the reins of the offense. He becomes, I wouldn't say a true point guard, floor general facilitator, okay, because that's not who he is, but he definitely becomes somebody who now the defense can collapse on, and then Klay Thompson's open, and then James Wiseman is establishing himself as a paint presence. I'm not going to say a dominant one yet, but a paint presence. And someone that you'll have to
the only place he can shoot.
And someone
he can score.
And someone you'll have to respect at the perimeter. And then say you draft maybe a sharpshooter. Okay, you draft another defender or draft someone or trade another pick to get somebody. I think that works a lot better because I'm going to reiterate my point.
Wait, you think that works better? Let's say I think that probably is the best case scenario for Embiid demanding out, which I don't think is going to happen.
And then, yeah, exactly. And then Joel gets to play with Curry.
I don't think that's going to happen. Like, all right, that's a cool scenario, right? I think that's a little bit of a fever dream because I think
it's realistic.
Listen, if the 76ers keep Ben Simmons and Embiid is frustrated, I don't think Embiid wants to leave Philly. I think he actually really likes Philly, and if he goes, okay, me or Ben Simmons, it should be no question, get Ben Simmons out of there and just start building around Embiid and get Embiid the pieces that he's going to need to succeed, right? Because Embiid plays good in the playoffs. He plays really good in the playoffs. If you have a guy who plays good in the playoffs and one guy who doesn't, and you have to choose between them, they're obviously going to choose Embiid. So there's no way on planet Earth that if it means that Embiid will want out of Philly, that they're going to keep Ben Simmons. There's no, and it's looking like that right now. Did you see the interview after the game?
Oh, when Doc Rivers was like, I don't know how to answer that.
That yes. Too, but also the Embiid one.
I didn't see.
Okay, so they were talking to Embiid. You know what? If you're on YouTube, roll the clip.
Hey Joel, what was the moment for you personally tonight where your belief in what you had in terms of this being the Sixers' year turned to the recognition that it just wasn't going to happen?
Man, I'll be honest. I thought the turning point was, when we, I don't know how to say it, but I thought the turning point was just, we had an open shot and, we made one free throw and we missed the other, and then they came down and scored, and we didn't get a good possession.
Okay, yeah, so pretty much the reporter says to Joel Embiid, they're like, oh, like what happened? Like, oh, what happened in the fourth? It was something like that. I didn't watch it the way that you guys just did, but Embiid pretty much responds with he talks about the play where Ben Simmons passes up a wide open shot.
I know what you're talking about.
He goes,
now.
oh, we had a layup and we passed it out.
I know exactly.
That's-
Yep.
That's Embiid talking his shit, bro.
No, low key it is. But that's the thing, and I want to reiterate the point because I don't think this can be stressed enough. Okay, teams that are built around the center, I don't think have like a viable success, like a viable chance to succeed. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I think that Jokic is a rare exception, but Jokic is like Al Horford on steroids. Does that make sense? Jokic is Al Horford on steroids.
No, I get like their game style. That's just funny to.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was gonna hear that today.
That's
No, I get what that mean. Like,
so Jokic,
the passing big man who's able to. Yeah, I get what you mean. That's just funny to hear.
And I'm not saying Embiid's a bad passer. I'm not saying like he can't facilitate in certain scenarios, but that's not who Embiid is. Okay, like a team built around a dominant paint presence, I don't think can win, because
I definitely think it can. If you have the best
not
center
anymore,
in the league,
not anymore.
well, 'cause the old center, no, but Embiid's the modern center. He can stretch the floor.
He can, but can he do it? He can. I don't think he can do it consistently.
The way that Embiid has played in the playoffs, yes, 100%, a dominant center can still win you a ring, in my opinion. But he needs to actually be dominant.
Here's the thing, like,
he can't be.
As much as I want to side with you, because listen, I wish guys like Shaq were still in the league today. Like, I wish.
Giannis kind of is like the next Shaq, dude.
No, please.
Come on.
No.
All right, no one will ever be
No.
as dominant as Shaq.
No.
Right? But Giannis is the closest modern Shaq we have. He's the closest.
Please stop.
It's true.
Will, I'm having a good day. Please stop.
that is all right. That is not a shot at Shaq, and that's not a shot at. That's just facts.
It is a shot at Shaq. It's
It's
disrespectful
not. No,
to
it's
Shaquille
not.
O'Neal.
Because he is the all right. He's not Shaq, right? But we haven't seen anyone play like Shaq since really Giannis, where it's back to the paint, doesn't really need to shoot, and he's still winning.
I'd
games,
argue
right?
that Frank Kaminsky.
Okay.
No, but okay, fine. We're gonna leave this debate because I don't want to argue Shaq.
That's another one we're never gonna
Giannis.
agree on.
So, but like I'm saying, I don't think that a guy whose offense is predicated on the paint, because you would agree with me that Embiid is paint first, right?
I mean, yeah, but I think Embiid is really whatever you need him to be. That's the thing.
He is, but his main selling point, like what makes him as great as he is going into the paint, right?
Yes.
So
well, he works the mid-range too. He's got a little mid-range game.
and he does.
He has a spot-up game. See, like, Embiid isn't just a paint guy.
He's
That's
not.
the thing.
He's not. But what I'm telling you is his primary source of offense is from down low, and then everything else is secondary. I don't think. And like I said, as much as I wish I could roll with you on this one, because I do wish guys like Shaq could still succeed. Okay, but unfortunately, I just don't think they can. I wish that they could. I don't think you can build a team around a paint-first center anymore. Okay, I like I said, I wish
he's not
you could.
only paint first.
He's like I said, I know he's not. I know he's not, but like
I wouldn't even
said,
argue he's paint first. I think Embiid. That's the thing. Embiid can score at all three levels. That's the thing. So that's not a paint dominant guy. Can he dominate in the paint? Yes, but he's not limited to that. We've seen Ben Simmons is a paint dominant guy, and that does not win you games.
No,
it doesn't win you playoff games.
And what I'm saying is, but the Bucks, as of right now, are a relatively successful team, right? I mean, they're in the conference finals over the past few years, okay? And
the Bucks have surprised me.
Yeah, and
like,
I know
beating the Nets, even though they were injured, still very hard. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And listen, I know that they're not championship successful, but they're a playoff successful team who make it to the second or third round about every single year, right?
Yeah.
Do you not think a team with Ben Simmons, Klay Thompson, and James Wiseman more so resembles the Bucks, which is a better formula for success?
We're stretching really far here. No,
but I think it is. I really think
I don't think so. Because all right, until I see that Ben Simmons can change up his game to win playoff games, what he does not win you playoff games. It doesn't, and it never will. The way that he plays right now never will. So to say like, okay, let's throw Ben Simmons this, let's give him that, give him everything he needs, and honestly, I still don't think that is even out of the first or second round worthy. It might not even make the playoffs.
The team that I listed, you don't think is making it out of the first round?
No.
Well.
No, we're talking about this Ben Simmons right now. No, absolutely not. A team with with Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid couldn't make it out of the
Tobias
second
Harris
round.
could play the 4. We completely forgot about him. He's the guy that could probably play the 4.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Tobias, you're my guy.
Yeah.
I
Paid
blanked.
close to $200 million. All right,
I
so,
can't believe I forgot about it. It's so much money.
so one more question before you want to wrap it up.
Yeah.
So one more question. I think we can all agree, even though that Ben Simmons, like I said earlier, won't shoot. Okay. I think that he is exactly the type of basketball player that you want on your team, just not without the ideal modern thing that makes the game, right?
The Ben Simmons right now.
Yes, the Ben Simmons right now.
I can't agree with that. Because
Okay.
just for playoff sakes, because the way that he plays, it won't when you play. Whether he has the confidence, whether he has this, that, the way his skill set will not win you playoff games. So that's why I think trade him, get him a fresh start, get him a new trainer. I don't know.
No,
Something.
what
He
I'm
needs to
saying
change
is-
his game. He needs to change completely who he is. He needs to be Sen Bimmons. He's no longer Ben Simmons.
That's what, I'm like,
He
who the
needs-
hell is that? It took me a second.
He needs to be a totally different player. Different
Okay.
team, different. It needs to change. It has to.
So
If he wants to win games, it has to.
I think that Ben Simmons is an elite basketball player who, if he gains, like I said, a mediocre jump shot, is a top 10 player in the league.
Okay. come
Okay,
on.
and I'm being dead ass. And quote me, put me on Instagram, do whatever the hell you want. Okay?
Cap.
Finally, Jesus Christ, it's 11 episodes.
Finally brought it up because that was absurd.
Okay.
I was thinking about saying it earlier, but I had held
Anyways.
it in.
I think that Ben Simmons is a basketball player. And you're probably gonna laugh, but he is a basketball player. Guys like
you don't say.
guys like Duncan Robinson, okay.
We've had this conversation
or
before.
guys-
This is horrendous.
Or guys
This is a
that
horrendous
resemble him
argument.
are not basketball players, they're shooters. Why don't AAU teams, why don't high school teams, why don't college teams try to make people more like Ben Simmons but with a shot? Why don't coaches put more emphasis on players like Ben Simmons but add a jump shot to him? You're not teaching young players fundamentals. You're not teaching players
Jump
who are
shots are
future-
so important because you were just praising Danny Green. How you can be a 3-and-D player?
I said,
that's
hold
your
on,
whole thing.
hold on,
No,
I
no,
said-
that was your whole thing. That was your whole thing with Danny Green. His value was, he can shoot and he can play defense, and now all of a sudden AAU teams should not teach kids to shoot.
Hold on, I said with a
Malarkey.
jump shot. I said with a jump shot.
Okay.
Why? Okay, it's bad for the league because people are gonna say, "Oh, I can just stand in the corner and shoot, and all of a sudden I'll make millions of dollars, be successful, and be considered a good basketball player." When all I have to do is sit in the corner and shoot. They're not teaching kids fundamentals like Ben Simmons is elite at. They're not teaching kids.
He doesn't have elite fundamentals.
the ins and outs of the game.
No, he doesn't.
They're teaching
Dude,
kids
he
how
can't.
to shoot.
He's not scoring in
They're
the
teaching
playoffs.
ki-
How do you have elite fundamentals and in a game 7 you score 5 points?
This is going to be the downfall of the league. Okay? This is going to be the downfall of the league. I promise you. Because the league is going to be filled with people like Duncan Robinson who all they do is shoot in the corner. And that is not a basketball player. That's a
Yes, it is.
that's
Yes,
a
it is.
one-dimensional player.
No.
They're one-dimensional. Ben Simmons is
Role
a
players are important.
Ben
Role
Sim-
players are important.
Ben Simmons is a multi-dimensional player, okay, who can do anything but what the basic climate of what the climate of the league suggests and demands for now. Okay, that means and you say Ben Simmons is overrated. Okay, but he's not. He's an elite
He's so
basketball
overrated.
player, but he just can't, he won't shoot. He won't shoot.
Versus the bum Washington Wizards. 14 points, 13, 19. Ooh, good for Ben Simmons. And then
fine.
Atlanta, he goes 17, 4, 18. The last 4 games, 11, 8, 6, 5. That is not an elite player in the playoffs. I'm sorry. That is a decent role player at best. That is not elite fundamentals when you how many shots did he even shoot in the game 7? I'm trying to find the stats for it. He didn't shoot a lot.
He didn't shoot in the
Wait,
fourth
hold on,
quarter
I
at
have
all,
this.
did he?
No, he didn't. He shot 2 for 4. He shot 4 shots in the game 7, and you want to give him the keys?
I think, but if you give him a top 5 shooter of all time and James Wiseman,
Nah, man, he's got the best center in the league. Come on now.
and James Wiseman, but it doesn't fit, like you said. A
Hey,
center
all right,
who
that's
can't
fair. It
shoot
doesn't
and then-
fit.
Oh, Well,
I don't think.
this is just another we're not going to agree.
I like how this is how we scrap off every episode. We're like, you know what?
The league,
We're gonna agree.
think about it, the league, mark my words, is in a constant downfall because it is going to consist of players like Duncan Robinson who do not learn the fundamentals, who learn how to do one thing, and then
Ben Simmons only does one thing.
They get mistaken for good
Ben
players.
Simmons only does one thing. At least Duncan Robinson's worked and got him and helped get him to the NBA Finals.
Oh, good for him. Good for him.
No, 'cause- all right,
Good for him.
Ben Simmons only does exactly what you said. He only does one thing. He can only score in the paint,
He does
and
everything. He does everything you need
doesn't
besides
shoot. He doesn't.
He does everything
He doesn't
you need.
shoot. He makes wide open passes. He doesn't. He's not an elite passer. Oh,
He does everything
No.
you need besides shoot.
that's the biggest part of the game.
So that's more than one thing.
Good night.
Screw all of you.
All right, so as always, we're going to be doing our hot take of the week per episode. I said mine earlier in the episode. I'm still sticking by it. I think Ben Simmons will end up going to the Golden State Warriors. If he's going anywhere, it'll be a trade for Andrew Wiggins. And I think it will be a nice fresh start for Ben Simmons. You know, new system. He has good shooters around him now. Not saying that Steph and Clay are gonna help him develop a jump shot, because I don't think that's that's not how the NBA works. But I think Ben Simmons needs a fresh start, and I think his best fit would be Golden State.
All right, so my hot take, we've been talking about basketball today, specifically Ben Simmons, but I'm going to go into football. I think that Nick Chubb is going to be the NFL leading rusher this year.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think that he is going to thrive off of Kareem Hunt. I think that they're going to do a lot of double running back sets. They got some weapons this year. They got a fourth round wide receiver. I forget his name. I think it's Schwartz or something. I think that he's going to be somebody who draws attention away from the double running back sets, along with Odell and Jarvis Landry and Rashad Higgins. So I think that's going to be a lethal offense, and I think that's going to allow Nick Chubb to thrive and have about over 1,500 rushing yards this season.
Yeah, and if Derrick Henry breaks both his legs, then maybe that'll happen. But no, I'm kidding. Again, thank you for watching this episode. It was a really fun one to do. Me and Chino have been talking about this literally all week. We knew it was going to be good. We hope all of you enjoyed. As always, follow us on social media. On Instagram, we're at Conti and Nick. Twitter, at Conti and Nick. We also have a link tree now. If you go to our Instagram and Twitter bio, that's really what the link tree was for. No, but all our stuff is there. If you want to listen to us, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, all of it's there. So make sure you follow us on social media. We post clips there all the time. And yeah, as always, John Bro.
What?
No! All right.
1, 2, 3.
John Bro.
Bro.
Peace.